Hello, creators, and welcome to Rediscovering Be Something Wonderful, where we revisit timeless classics from deep within our video archives. What if the reason nothing has changed isn't because your manifestation hasn't happened? What if the reason your reality hasn't changed is because you keep asking why it hasn't changed? What if you've been waiting for proof of who you are from your reality, instead of being the proof of your new reality? In this video, you'll discover why waiting only creates more waiting, why your awareness as I am is the only creative power, and why the moment you choose your new identity now, every condition, circumstance, and appearance loses the power to define your reality. Because nothing takes time, it takes your awareness. Now let's discover the extraordinary simplicity of consciously creating the life of your wildest dreams. Welcome back to Be Something Wonderful.
I have a big one for you today. This follows our video yesterday when we talked about this idea, really the last few days, of these questions. Why hasn't it changed yet? Why am I not experiencing my manifested reality? So I had a great session with a client that at the end of it, she goes, Tom, wow, it really does make that question irrelevant, right? She's very excited now, right? To declare her identity and occupy that reality now. Let's hit some of the points that we discussed and more. Remember, choose your new identity and reality, and then see all changing conditions and appearances as and through that new identity. As and through that new identity and reality. From, through, and as fulfillment. From, through, and as that wish fulfilled. Right? Waiting and wanting in linear time creates a reality of waiting and wanting things, but never experiencing them. Never receiving them, never perceiving them. You cannot experience who and what you are not already conscious of being. You can't experience what you are waiting for. Do you see it? You can't experience what you are wanting. Do you hear this? Remember, we've talked about this idea, the difference between waiting and wanting, and expecting and anticipating the unfoldment in 3D reality. It's a different kind of wanting. It's a knowing that it's done. It's a knowing from that fulfillment, right? There's an eternal unbroken connection, hear this, between your unseen linear inner experience and your physical outer experience. An eternal unbroken connection, unbroken link between your unseen inner experience and your physical outer experience. That's never broken. You'll only ever experience who and what you're conscious of being. If you're conscious of being that person that's waiting and wanting in linear time, but not already declaring it, not already being in it from fulfillment, then you create that reality. You create that physical experience when? Now. It's all right now. So let's continue. If your inner experience is one of wanting, waiting, and non-fulfillment, then you create an outer physical experience of waiting, wanting, waiting and waiting. That's a good one. Yeah, it is waiting and waiting. Wanting and waiting to be fulfilled, but never being it. Do you see it? Your inner experience, if it's one of wanting, waiting, and non-fulfillment, then you create an outer physical experience of wanting and waiting to be fulfilled, but never being it. Hear this again. No, remember, it's the difference between you create a reality of wanting and waiting for things to be different versus knowing that they already are different and seeing all changing conditions and appearances as evidence of your new identity and reality. The difference between you, right, waiting and wanting to be fulfilled but never being it. You create a reality of wanting and waiting for things to be different versus knowing that they already are different, and seeing all changing conditions and appearances as evidence of proof of your new identity and reality. Even contrary or opposite conditions become part of the physical unfolding, right? Turning into everything you want and desire, because you are reality, because your experience is the only reality, because you are the power, you are the source. Everything becomes evidence of fulfillment versus everything being evidence of non-fulfillment, which we're normally tuned to. Right? That's powerful today. Remember, thoughts, feelings, conditions, and things are not reality. You are. So your experience of reality is reality. In other words, that I am awareness is reality, and your experience within that awareness is reality. You give them those conditions, those thoughts, those feelings, those conditions, those things, all the meaning or reality they have. And whatever meaning you give them, whatever reality you give them, is your experience of reality as reality. Are you getting this? There's no other power. There's no other source. Right? Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind, one of my favorite classic books that I love. It simply announces itself to be that which it is. That consciousness, that awareness, God, you, it simply announces itself to be that which it already is. He says that which it is. Yes, implying that which it already is. Remember, that's the law of being. That's the law of God. That's the law of the only law there is. No thought, no feeling, no condition, no thing can break that unseen connection. Right? It's the law of it's the law, or the connection can never be broken. You can't break that law. You can't break that connection. The law of who and what you're conscious of being. Within must be your experience without. That's the law. No thought, no feeling, no condition, no thing can change that law. Wow. Or that unbroken, eternal connection. And then Ernest Holmes continues to say in Science of Mind, God speaks and it is done. But if God speaks, his word must be law. What are we talking about here? What are the ancients talking about? I am. That's God. When you speak as I am, God speaks through you as I am. And if you declare something as I am, if you're conscious of being something as I am, God speaks and his word must be law. What's the word? I am. What's the law? The law of being. The law of I am, the law of consciousness, the law of awareness, the law of God. God speaks through and as you. So God, I am, is the absolute power that knows itself. That's what the law is. It's the absolute law, or the absolute power, because there's no other power, there's no other source that knows itself. I am who that I am. That's the whole teaching of I am. I am who I am. I am that I am. That I am that knows itself as the absolute power, as reality. No other power or source. That's the law. That's the whole meaning of faith of a mustard seed. The Father speaks through his Son, right? That's what Jesus meant by a mustard seed. A mustard seed must grow into this isn't a mustard plant in this case, or a flower, right? A flower seed must grow into a flower, or a mustard seed must grow into a mustard plant or tree. It's law. It's the law. It's the way. It's the greater consciousness. It's that great subconscious, meaning it's subject to the word, or I am. That's what subconscious means. It's subjective. It's your awareness, what you're consciously aware of, but it's subject to it. It's subject to what you declare as I am awareness. That is the word, and the word is law. That's what Ernest Holmes was saying. Whatever you drop into that consciousness, that great subconscious, the law, the way, that's why it's mysterious. It must be what it is conscious, who and what it's conscious of being. There's no other law. That's what must manifest. That's what must be the outer experience, whatever that inner experience is. It's subject to, though, that inner experience, to what you consciously declare as I am awareness, right? So it carries it out without question. It's deductive. It doesn't doubt it. It doesn't question it. It doesn't debate it. It produces it. That's the law of God. In spirit is the I amness, is that law knowing itself as law, knowing itself as power, knowing itself as reality. That's the law of being. That's the law of God. That's powerful. That's why it's referred to as subconscious. It's below your conscious awareness, but it's absolutely subject to it, subject to your I am. Consciousness is your awareness, your I am. Sub means it's just below it. Below doesn't mean it's less than it. It's actually greater than, it's everything, right? It's subject to it. That's what that means. It's subject to what you declare as who and what you're being, right? The subconscious soil, because that's what that is, that's the law. That's the subconscious soil. The seed, when dropped in it, must produce whatever is the contents of that seed, whatever is the contents of that I amness, that consciousness, right? It must produce it. The subconscious soil receives and acts according to law, the law of being, the law of God. That's why it says his ways are mysterious. There's no way you know how. You just know when you drop it, it's done. Right? When you declare it, it's done. A mustard seed is only conscious of being a mustard seed. I am, therefore must produce. It must manifest. It must become. It must be a mustard plant or a mustard tree because that's law, the law of God. It can only be an experience who and what you are conscious of being. No matter how much you want something to be, no matter how long you've been waiting for something to be or to experience it, someone or something else, you can only experience who and what you're conscious of being, no matter how much you want to be it, no matter how long you've been waiting for some experience. You can't experience or be that which you're not conscious of being. That's the law. That's the soil. That's that great consciousness. That's the absolute working, right? But you get to decide that law, that soil, that creative medium of God is subject to what you consciously declare, believe, and assume about who and what you are. That's the good news, right? So this is powerful today. So what do, you ask? Well, I get it. I love those questions. Guys, I never tire of these questions. I love them. Someone asked me that yesterday. No, this is why we're here. This is what repetition means. This is what it means to, quote, reprogram the subconscious, to repeat the ideas as you start absorbing them and embodying them. Well, what do? Be it. Announce it. Declare it. Make the first move as I am or as God, as the one and only reality. Remember, God always makes the first move, right? That consciousness, that soil, can't produce anything unless you drop the seed in it, unless you declare it, unless you decide who and what you are. So that's why in Scripture it says 1 John 19, we love because he first loved us. We love. I love this. I am who I am, and I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing because I was first conscious of already being it. That's what that means, right? We love because he first loved us. It's unconditional love. It's unconditional law. It doesn't condition anything. It produces who and what you're conscious of being without questioning it. It doesn't doubt it. It doesn't debate it. I am who I am. I am experiencing what I'm experiencing because I was first conscious of already being it. Right? There's greater meaning here with love and God and unconditional love, but I wanted to really use it for this today. But Tom, what about limiting beliefs? What about negative thoughts? What about contrary feelings? What about opposite conditions? All those questions came up. What if nothing changed out there in linear time? What if nothing has changed? This is the question. All of these conditions, though, become irrelevant to this new identity and new reality that you're declaring, that you're consciously declaring. They're all irrelevant. Everything becomes proof that you're no longer identifying with that old reality or that old identity. Everything becomes proof of who you are now, right? They no longer belong to the new you. None of those conditions are who you are now. You've shifted. You've declared it. You've dropped the seed in the soil, and they're no longer relevant. Whether you see them or not, whether you believe them or not, they're not relevant, right? But you can have an experience by believing it, and having an experience of not being who you desire to be, of not experiencing who you desire to be, of not perceiving it, right? So I want to hit this again. Like Ernest Holmes said of spirit, simply announce yourself to be that which you already are. Remember, he said that. Spirit announces itself to be what it already is, right? That which it already is. It announces itself to be that which it already is. Simply announce yourself to be that which you already are. And anything that appears to contradict that new identity or new reality is no longer relevant to who you are now, including this idea of waiting or linear time going by and nothing happening. It's all irrelevant. You're in that preferred identity because that's your preferred identity. You're in that preferred reality because that's your preferred reality no matter what. Everything else is irrelevant, right? Don't give them a second thought. Allow all thoughts, all feelings, all conditions, all circumstances to exist. Allow all those possibilities. Well, you choose who you are in relation to all of it from that new identity. Do you see it? You're source of all of it. Remember, you're source. You're not run by or sabotaged by the so-called subconscious, by that soil. That soil is subject to what you drop into it, what you declare, what you decide. It's subjective to that I amness of you. You are source of it. You consciously run the show. This makes the question of why hasn't my reality changed yet? What about limiting beliefs? What about contrary thoughts and conditions of appearance? It's all irrelevant to that new identity. It no longer belongs to that new identity. That's a different you that those belong to. It's no longer who you are. That's big. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and for being part of our membership channel. Don't forget, we have our second live event this Saturday, February 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Coast Standard Time. I'm going to be coming to you live from Las Vegas. And we're going to cover the questions and topics that you've been sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com. Continue to send your questions. Some of these questions are about this. Why hasn't it changed yet? Right? We're going to cover all of that again and other things. And so continue to send your questions. Creators, if you're a member of the channel, tune in. If you're not a member, there's a link below. Check it out. With great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. Until next time, we'll see you soon.